This is Sergio from MMA-Prospects.com. I am joined by Pat Gilbride. How are you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. Just surviving COVID, getting through one day at a time. So overall, man, this year's been past 2 years. I think it's been just wild. How have you been holding up throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. Trying to get fights pretty much non-existent for at least a year or so. Training was tough. We weren't allowed in the gym, so we had to use our heads and find some ways to train outside of the gym. We in New England, we all got together. We meet at someone's house. I have mats, so people would come here and we drill, train, do what we could. Or you'd have some gyms that would open their doors and allow us in, but it was kind of under wraps. But it was a challenge.
Yeah, you had quite the layoff before your last fight last month. How did it feel to get back in there and shake off some of that ring rust?
Man, it was awesome to get back in there. The crowd was going crazy, and I couldn't hear anything but the crowd. It was so loud in that building. But I didn't get the result I wanted, but it was nice to be back to fighting.
Yeah, I've heard that that's in Massachusetts, right? I heard it's like a small little arena, and the apparently the noise in there is deafening.
Yeah. Oh, it's so loud. I've never heard it like that though. I've fought there a few other times, and I've never heard it to that level.
You fought a very dangerous opponent. Obviously, the fight didn't go your way. You lost a decision. What's the biggest takeaway from that fight?
Don't be complacent. I was willing to accept positions that I shouldn't have and that I usually wouldn't, and I just, became comfortable where I shouldn't have been.
That being said, you took I wouldn't say a quick turnaround, but you signed on the dotted line pretty quickly. You're back out there later this month against Lionel Young. How do you think you match up against the guy?
Um, I think this is a good matchup for me. Lionel is well-rounded. He's good everywhere. He's been a veteran of the sport, especially in this area. I mean, I trained with him when I was 15 or 16 years old. So, that says something right there. He's been fighting professionally since then. So, I think it's a good matchup for me. I'll probably overwhelm him on the ground, but I'm sure he wants to keep it on the feet and go for that knockout.
He's
So,
he's by far probably the most experienced guy you've ever faced. Obviously, you said you've trained with him a little bit. Do you feel like that experience is a factor? Or do you feel like the fact that you've got youth and less film on you could be an advantage for you?
I mean, the experience is great for him, but it's also the sport is evolving, and I mean, for example, look at the calf kick over the last couple of years. It's become huge, and you have these vets that just can't handle it. This the sport's always changing, and I think my age and the people I train with are going to get me prepared, and I'll be ready to go come fight night.
I love it. You said the people you train with. I mean, you train at one of the most legendary gyms in all of MMA. You train at Lauzon MMA with Joe Lauzon, amongst many others there. What's it like training with those people day in and day out?
Um, just another day, to be honest. It's kind of funny. A lot of people mention that. I guess I just don't realize Joe's celebrity.
Yeah.
I've known him for years, and I mean, I'm a huge fan of Joe's, obviously, but yeah, it's kind of funny when you see somebody from an outside perspective, their view on him. He's just a nice guy, and he's always here to help us fighters out, and it's kind of cool to see others who don't really know him just, lack of a better term, fangirl over him, and
Yeah.
pretty cool. But it's been awesome having those mentors. Whether it's Joe or someone else that has a lot of experience and fought in the UFC, because we've had plenty of UFC fighters out of our gym, kind of show us the ropes.
There's a couple other names I want to mention. Connor Matthews, as well as a friend of mine, Carlos Lazoya, recently moved there as well. How big
Yep.
are having those people that are close to your weight class, and are they going to be helping you out with this camp?
So I actually met Carlos today for the first time. Now Connor talks so highly of Carlos. I mean, they have a back and forth kind of joking around relationship, but I mean, from what I've heard and what I've seen, Carlos is a beast, and I'm really excited to be working with him. And I'm happy that he's moved up here. It'll be great for me, especially with the same weight class. Connor and I are really good friends. We train together all the time, and we definitely have that competitive edge over each other where we push each other. So it's nice, and I'm excited that they're both part of the gym because we're gonna push each other to the top.
Like your loyalty with Lauzon MMA, you've also been extremely loyal to Cage Titans. Most people bounce around, especially in that area. There's so many other promotions, like you've got Ammo over there, CES, Maverick MMA. There's so many in New England, but you've always fought with Cage Titans. Is it just the only promotion that's offered you fights, or is it just you like the promotion?
So I've been offered fights, but I got offered to take a short notice fight in New Jersey that I was going to take, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make it with I had a vacation that I was supposed to be on. Actually, I was on my way there, and I got the text to fight that weekend. So I've been offered New Jersey, I've been offered Florida, Rhode Island, but it just never really worked out, especially with COVID. And I had a few injuries that I had to take care of, so I had to back out of some fights, unfortunately. And that was one with CES. I was gonna fight for them, but I got injured, so I wasn't able to. But aside from that, Cage Titans is a good home to have. Mike Pulver, he's the best promoter in the game that I've experienced, and obviously my lack of experience with other promoters is there, but he's awesome. He's definitely for the fighters, and you don't always see that. So he really puts us first.
I want to talk about, like you said, you got offered fights in Florida. And is that something you're open to? I mean, obviously, the comfort of your own home, fighting in New England, fighting in your backyard, fighting close to your team, it makes it easier for everybody to make it out to the fight. But does it excite you to be like, maybe Florida would be fun, or maybe Texas, or maybe California? Are you very just happy in New England for the time being?
I mean, I'll take what I can get and what makes sense to my management team. But yeah, I mean, I'd be open to fighting anywhere, any promotion, as long as it's okay with my managers and I get the approval through them.
I love it. I want to talk a little bit about down the road. Obviously, you've got a big fight coming up, but obviously being surrounded by so many guys in the UFC, is that the ultimate goal, to make it to the UFC? Or do you feel like the game's evolved now where you can see yourself in Bellator or Brave or one of these other promotions? Or is the dream always the UFC?
I'd like to get in the UFC. I mean, one's pretty cool. I mean, are they going to be coming to the US? I think they were supposed to before COVID, so we'll see if that takes place again. Bellator, I think I could fight Bellator if I wanted to. I think I could get on there with a prelim fight or something like that because they are the state over from us. They do a lot of their fights at Mohegan Sun, Connecticut. So I could probably get on a prelim fight there, but I'd rather shoot for UFC at this point in my career.
I want to take a trip down memory lane. I ask everyone how they ended up falling in love with MMA. I mean, you look at New England, they've got the Patriots, they've got the Bruins, they've got the Celtics. So many opportunities there in New England, but somehow you find mixed martial arts. What ultimately led you to the sport?
This is a funny story. So I have a really good friend that would always ask me to go to the gym with him, and he trained for years and years, and I never took him up on it. And then one of my other friends got involved in it, and he was like, come on, no excuse, we're going tonight. And he picked me up and everything, so I had to go. So it was a jiu-jitsu class, and when we first got there, the owner of Lauzon's, one of the owners is Joe Pomfret. He's been in all of the big guys' corners, Joe Lauzon's corner. He's Fight Dad, they call him, actually. But he took us upstairs, and there used to be 2 floors to Lauzon's when I first started. And we did some basic striking. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then we went downstairs and did the jiu-jitsu class. I got my ass kicked by a girl with purple hair. And I still don't know who she is. I mean, I've been there for years. I've asked so many people. And people have said, like, oh, I think it might be this girl. But I don't know who she is. But she was beating up all the boys that night. And she put me in my place. definitely humbled me, and I was like, oh wow, maybe this is serious. This isn't some joke. And ever since, ran with it.
That's exactly what happened to me. Like I went in, got
Purple.
thrown around. Yeah, I got thrown around. I think she was like 14. Just got thrown around. I was like, I got to start coming more often. So, been doing it ever since. And I was like, I don't like that feeling, just feeling helpless. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But fell in love with it. I don't fight, but I do jujitsu. You've got a big fight coming up. People who haven't heard of you, what can they expect from you on August 28th?
Um, I'm gonna get after it. Come on, 28th. I was reluctant in my last fight. I didn't have the same explosiveness that I usually have, and I'm going for that win this time.